Okay, we got just a little bit of time before we get started. Got a good guest tonight, interesting guest.
Yes, I'm excited. Good book. Good book.
Yeah, I think this is going to be good for our listeners. The content of it and just it's always something that kind of is on our minds, even if we don't think it's on our minds.
Mhm.
So it'll be good from that standpoint. And Bruce, we got Bruce. You got some good stuff to talk about. I think this week.
Oh, I do. I do. I think you have the most. Well, I mean, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, so you may not have
Well,
a whole lot to
come
share,
on now.
but
Ah.
We can't let it all go. We cannot let it all go. We won't have to remove the children from the room, though. It wasn't that deep and exciting. But I'm glad to share it. Glad to share it.
Oh my goodness, y'all funny.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Let's see, let's see. Anybody got travel coming up? And are we going away again?
Yep, you know
same
I'm
here.
going to Indiana. Yes,
That's
yes.
right. That's right. You are. You are.
All
So,
right, everybody. It's
okay.
time
We
to
ready?
put the open in.
All
All
righty.
righty, Alan. Thank you so much,
Rolling.
sir.
Have a great show. And I'm going to say this anyway. I'll probably get in trouble for it. But as the old expression goes, roll that beautiful bean footage.
Oh Lord.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Authors Up, our favorite place to be on Sunday evening.
Yes, yes.
Hope you've made it your favorite place to be as well. I see we got two folks coming in already. Hey there, Linda Cooks. Good evening to you, ma'am. And good evening to you, Francina Booker. Glad to have both of you. Don't forget to share. Because we have a very, very good guest tonight, and we have the one. He has a wonderful book, wonderful book. And I'm sure that it's something that you're going to glean some nuggets from, and we're excited about him being here this evening. Hey there, Ruth and Queen Victoria. How are
Hello.
you?
Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello. Mwah, mwah.
Okay, all righty then. We never know what the Queen has in store for us. But
Yes, and it's my birthday month. And you know what happens on my birthday month? I celebrate all month.
you've been celebrating your birthday for a long time then, but you're always in celebration.
How about that?
Yeah. We don't actually know what day her birthday is. It's just
I know that's
August.
right. I got the joy of Jesus down in my soul every
Oh,
day.
Lord,
Thank
preach
you,
now.
Jesus.
Come on, hallelujah.
Mm.
Well, you can see this is going to start off tonight. But we are glad that you are with us. We know that we have some listeners that come in from other countries, and we are inviting them as well and telling them thank you for being with us. We do appreciate it. We know that you could be doing any number of things on Sunday evening, but when you choose spend it with Authors Up, we try not to disappoint. So
Amen.
we're
Amen.
going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to start the way that we usually do on Sunday evenings, and that's going to be to tell you a little bit about our week in review, what the authors have been up to this week. And Victoria, we're going to start with you this
All
evening.
right, all righty, right. I'm just I'm in a kind of reset mode. Thinking about some new things that are on the horizon. We have been discussing my own show coming up, and I think we got a start date. Thank you, Francina. Thank
Don't encourage her,
you.
Francina. Don't encourage her.
I'm excited. I'm going to be 58 on the 18th, and I'm excited about it. I
Woo!
tell you, I have no shame in telling the world how old I am because I look better than I feel. Praise
Come on now.
God. And a lot of people didn't make it to this age, and I'm just excited about it. Didn't think I was going to make it during this COVID when I had COVID, and it was
Yeah.
pretty bad. And so I'm grateful for every day God gives me because I do believe He spared my life for a purpose. And we're
Boy,
going to talk about that.
interesting you should say that.
Yes.
Now, you were telling us earlier you had some really exciting news.
Yes.
Something happened today.
Yes. My youngest child started a job today.
Woohoo! As parents, we always love that news.
Yeah.
It's always good news.
My baby is 16, gonna be 17 at the end of this month as well. See, I got tears. My baby got out the car and marched right on in there, started a little part-time job, and I said, my baby has joined the workforce.
You'll be okay. You'll be okay.
No, those are tears of joy. Those are tears
Those
of
are
joy.
joy tears.
Yeah. This was long overdue. I'm so happy to see this day. Tears.
And if anybody knows what's been happening in my life with this particular child, I'm just excited that they wanted to do it. They applied, and the first place they actually applied, they got the job. So that is so encouraging that my baby is forging a path in this world and starting to discover their purpose.
Hey, hey, all right. All
I
right.
love it. I
So
love it.
I'm all right. I'm all right now. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all say what happened your week because I'm really got tears in my eyes. So it's time to move it on over. Somebody else because I'm just full. I'm full already. Okay,
You done?
I'm done.
You done?
Well,
Okay, well, my
hey,
news isn't as exciting, but I went to visit my youngest daughter yesterday. And so she is going to be a senior in college. Decided last year at some point, because she didn't tell us, that she's going to take up weight training. And she joined and she was in a competition yesterday, and we're sitting there watching her. This child is 125 pounds, lifting 135 pounds like it's absolutely nothing.
She's a
She
beast.
went
She's
all
a
the
beast.
oh my God, she went all the way up to 100 and almost 90 pounds. 190 pounds.
wow.
I watched as two men had to reset the weights in between, and this was just the women's competition. In between each person who got up there, they had to reset the weights, and it was funny just watching them dragging the dumbbell across the stage. And here they are, they're picking it up like it's like absolutely nothing. I'm like, wow. So, yeah.
She was. I thank you for sending the videos. Because if you all have never seen Ruth's daughter, she's a little bitty thing. I mean, she is this
Yeah.
tiny thing, and
She
to
tiny.
lift that weight. I forget what that second category was called.
It's
Uh,
called clean and jerk. So you
cleaning.
have to get it up to your shoulders and then above your head.
Head. And
And
she
then
got it
go
up
from
there, and
like
then she threw it back down like it was a potato chip and walked off.
It was like a drop the mic moment.
And then
Yep.
and she just walked off like, yeah, y'all see that? All right, bye. See you later.
She is really something, and that was a joy for me too. I enjoy watching that.
Exactly.
She's our baby. She's our baby.
Yep.
Exactly. These are
Yep.
our babies.
Yep. So yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a proud moment for me.
good, 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 good.
Good. Yeah, I know you've
And you
had a
watched your
special
baby
week.
do some things this
Adrian.
week. What happened
Yeah.
this week for you?
Good. I went with Lynn. Lynn is a paparazzi consultant. Jewelry
Lovely.
jewelry everywhere.
Yes.
But, But I went out to traveled with her to her convention, her business convention, and it was in Vegas. And I had not been to Vegas for a very, very long time. So I was when she told me last year was in Vegas, I thought, I'm going.
All right.
Can't go to the convention, but I don't need to. I'll just go to Vegas just to be there again. And needless to say, from the days that I went, it has changed very, 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 very much.
Wow.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed getting away. I enjoyed seeing, just being in a different atmosphere and in a different environment, and just to be in an atmosphere that was so charged. I mean, these ladies are serious about their business, and some of them partner with their husbands, and they're serious about their business. And it was just delightful to be there. Jazz went with us, and she got to take some pictures. She's a wedding photographer, and she got to take some pictures. So it was, I
Awesome.
had to play the slots a little bit. I won't share my news about my winnings, but I won't retire on them. But
I know. I mean, you came back, so
Exactly. Exactly. She's on the show with us, so she didn't win $1 million.
it was fun. But actually, today was a better day than the entire week. Some of you
Oh.
may or may not know, but I'm transitioning from a leadership assignment at church, and
Hmm.
it is in a department called Connections, and I have been in that department in some way, shape, or form uh, for 20 years, probably a little
Wow.
15 years, and had made the decision that uh, it was time. It was just
Mhm.
time to move on. And I have no idea move on to what. So our author's book is
Yes.
on time
Yes.
for me. It's just not, there's not knowing. And somebody said, what are you going to do next? And I said, sometimes you can't figure out your next until you step out of your now.
Right.
And
That's
so
right.
I'm
Right.
excited to see what God
That's
has
a word.
for me, and what he wants me to do. And
Okay.
they surprised me with a little um, going away. I don't know what to call it. It's just a little gathering, and
Aww.
said some very, very kind things, and gave me some things, and gave me some flowers, and it was just nice. And I will, while I will miss them terribly and miss the responsibility of that department, I am excited about making a turn, and making a change, and just seeing what God has in store, because he's done some amazing things for
He's
me.
got some work for you still to do.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So it was good. It was a good day. It was a long day, but it was a good day. And
Okay.
I'm just glad about it. There's Erica. Hey there,
Hey,
Erica.
Erica.
Glad to have you tonight. Let's see. Angie has joined us tonight. Hey there, Angie O from South Carolina. Glad to have you in the house as well.
Well, are
So
we ready?
that was my weekend review, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen this week coming up. So the
How
week
about that?
begins on Sunday again. But for right now, Victoria is going to tell us a little bit about our guest in the house tonight.
Yes, yes, we're
Victoria,
excited about this book.
turn
We're
it
excited.
over to you.
All right, here we go. Jaquan Kline, a native of the Midwest, has spent several years seeking to advance those within his community and local organizations. Jaquan is driven by the opportunity to champion change in any sphere of influence that he encounters. Over the last few years, he has committed to developing training workshops that tackle everyday questions we ask ourselves, such as, what is your purpose? Daquan enjoys spending time with his wife as they are actively involved in ministry and many other local endeavors within the Dallas community. He and his wife happily reside in Dallas, Texas. After this short break, you will get to meet our guest for the evening, Jay Klein, where we will talk about his important book, What is Your Purpose? We will be right back.
Jay, how are you?
Hey,
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Welcome.
yes, yes.
I'm glad to be here. Thank y'all for having me.
Of course, of course. We are happy to have you and we are excited. We're going to get started. We're going to jump right in. So, the title of your book is What is Your Purpose?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so first of all, I feel like the word purpose is a buzzword. Y'all familiar with that term, right?
Yes.
And I think the problem with buzzwords is they're great for a time, they're exciting to talk about, and then they're kind of forgotten, right? So I think that's something that was quite a conundrum for me because no one really has like a 12-step plan to purpose. It's just
Right.
something that we're always in pursuit of. And so I think when you internalize it in that way, you can breathe a little bit better. So for me, when I started writing What is Your Purpose, it was a very tumultuous time in my life. Um, Full transparency, I think at this time of my life, I had been put out of college. So I was on like academic probation. Um, and I was living in a really rundown part of the community. And I think I had like a failed relationship. Everything that could hit someone, in their youth, I was experiencing it
Mhm.
at that current time. And so I think for me, purpose felt more like something that I had to perform rather than experience and live. And so, yeah, that's what started the process for me. I won't get ahead of myself because I got a lot of great things that I want to touch on, but I hope that at least gives a better synopsis of what led me into the writing process.
Okay. All right. So everything's going wrong,
Hmm.
for lack of a better way to say it. What
Right.
finally went right that drew
Well,
you
life
in?
was lifing, as
Mhm.
some as I've heard before. I I can't say that there was like this epiphany moment. Just to be honest with you guys, I think a lot of writers have the luxury of experiencing that, and that wasn't necessarily the case for me. What I can truly say was a motivating factor was my relationship with God. Now I know that that's not the story for every person, right? Some of us have had very poor introductions into what it looks like to be a Christian or just a person of faith, right? We've had people hurt us or kind of betray our trust in a way, and so for me, I did walk through that. There were leaders that I looked up to that I think had negatively impacted me out of traditionalism and more so things of that nature. So I think when I got to know just who Christ was on my own and really see like, oh wow, it's a welcoming nature that he has, and he's not so much hung up on um, me missing the bar,
Right.
right? And
Mhm.
made it more palatable for me to say, okay, I'm gonna make some mistakes along this journey, and let me just start this thing. So when I kind of had that moment, I was writing and it was nonstop. I was going pretty strong. I had gotten back into college, and then I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to go to college anymore. While I was writing the book, because I just felt so fulfilled in that process. Told my parents was like, "Boy, no, you gonna finish college." So I was in a rock and a hard place because I felt that I was doing something that actually gave me value, right? And so I associated that value as my purpose.
Mhm.
We still aren't there yet, but
Mm.
I think that that's an aspect of what we're all hoping to feel when fulfilling purpose. And then I hit a hard stop, I want to say 2018, 2017, 2018, because I met my lovely wife. Um, and, all my focus was like trying to pretend like, I had life together so that I didn't lose this amazing woman. All jokes aside, as you all know, preparing for any long-term relationship can involve all of you. And so I didn't write my book for about another 2 years, and then my wife, uh, I remember one day driving on the highway, she said, "Make me a promise." I'm like, what else? I just gave you my whole life. Like, what? No, I'm just kidding. And she goes, promise me that you'll do two things. One of the two things that she asked me to promise was that I would finish the book.
Mhm.
She said, "You'll finish what you started." And so for me,
Wow.
that was encouraging because it showed me she believes in the process.
Yes.
Um, I had already given credit to God for like giving me the idea, and literally none of this book came from me. It was all Holy Spirit. Like a lot of these concepts, I would write and then have to walk out.
Mm,
So it
mhm.
was it was really challenging in that regard because a lot of the times most authors position themselves as an expert of a particular topic,
Mhm.
whereas I was experiencing through the writing journey. So it really gave me a unique perspective, and it showed me who I should lean on in the process. But yeah, that's how I know that was a bit winded, but I hope that gave
God is
the
great.
amount of clarity.
That was perfect.
Absolutely, absolutely. So all in all, how long do you think from start
hmm
to when you wrote the end part, how long did that take you?
Okay, I would say in total, probably like 2 years straight to just write the
Okay.
book.
Yeah.
But the entire process, maybe closer between 3 and 4 years because there was such a pause
Mhm.
in the writing process. So yeah, but all throughout the entire journey, I would say like sitting down writing intentionally for sure. I would about 2 years. Yeah,
Okay, so let me ask you this because a lot of our you know, we also focus on the writing process itself. And I've
yeah,
had people come up to me and say, "Okay, well, what do I need to do? You know,
hmm
I've got this idea, and the thing is more often than not, it's you're going to find time to do what you want, what is important to you. So,
yes.
what did you have to do to finally finish the book? Did you have to get up in the morning, stay up late? What was your process? How did you finally get it done?
Yeah, this is the magic question for all authors, aspiring or current, right?
Yep.
What is your game plan for doing what you're supposed to do? I think honestly, I tried a couple of different ways, right? So when I
Mhm.
first started, I was super ambitious and I was just writing for hours at a time whenever I was inspired, which I think most authors, that's like their first journey that they take. After the pause and then being not only a husband but a father, I realized that I have to schedule things into my life.
Mhm.
It really was very helpful when my wife allowed, and I say allowed because, husbands, who run the relationship, but she allowed me to have an office, and when I had the office, I think it just gave me a space to where I could say, okay, I'm going in here to be
Uh-huh.
productive. Yes, it was a great like escape sometimes mentally, but I think uh, when I decided, and I don't know where I was looking for the notebook, but I literally, um, as we all share, we like to write all the time. So I
Mhm.
had taken a notebook and I literally wrote out, I will wake up at this time. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And so it took me probably 3 days to really start living by that
Mhm.
schedule. I was ambitious. I don't know if everyone is going to do this, but I was waking up at 5 a.m. And then from 5 to 6, I was having some devotional
Mhm.
time and prayer. And then from 6 to 7, I was working out. 7 to 8, prepping for work. I worked for the entire day, and then right after work, I went into writing for an hour.
Mhm.
I've heard that once you hit, over an hour, you kind of plateau, because your mind is just elsewhere, right? And so I think that every writer should kind of, it's like preparing for a marathon. You want to have some time where you're running each day, maybe walking. And I would encourage people to start at like the 30-minute process and go from there. What made
Mhm.
the writing process easier for me, and I'll end here, is I would say writing out every detail that I wanted to answer. Uh,
Mhm.
and I've encouraged every person that's come to me and said, "Hey, how did you write a book?" Well, just write the questions that you're going to prompt yourself with, and
Mhm.
it's really, really easy from there, in my personal opinion. Because most writers just get caught up in how to tell the story, but they don't know what questions they want to
What
answer.
an answer.
Right.
So, yeah,
That's really good advice.
Yeah,
So,
it's good.
um, now your mother is also an author, Kunita
yes,
Klein. We had the pleasure of having her on our show our first year.
yes.
Um, Now this is a first for us. We've never had a mother-son duo.
All
Um,
right.
but what's it like sharing that talent with her?
Oh man, that's an amazing question because I don't think that I quite internalized that until this moment. So
Uh-huh.
Wow.
first of all, publicly hearing that announced, that is quite a grand privilege to
Mhm.
experience. I think in a lot of ways, my mother and I connect so well with our talents, and
Mhm.
so it feels more natural than anything, and it's not something that you notice until someone else vocalizes it.
Yeah.
So it's great. She was really her and my father were like just as impactful as my wife. I would say the people
Awesome.
that actually helped push me a step further right after my wife were my father and mother, because they came and they said, "Hey, we want to finance the process." And
Mhm.
so at that point, what excuse do you have? I don't think every author is in that position. So if not, don't be discouraged. Just get the book done. Like, the
Yeah.
publishing is the least painful process. It's the writing that is most strenuous of all. So yes, sharing that gifting with her, I think it showed me that it was tangible.
Mhm.
And so I was drawing from that the whole time to say, like, wow, like, we already have an author in the family. And then, if anything, by the end of the process, it encouraged me to let her know, "Mom, you need to be more vocal about your book."
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes, and I don't know if you guys can attest to this, but like, it's done now, it's,
Now,
fleshed out, and so I kind of just find myself not talking about it or shying away from it if someone asks me. But yeah, so I don't want either one of us to let that go.
No. No, absolutely not. And I think that is the part that I've struggled with a lot of my authors because I mean, you've done an amazing thing.
Yes.
You have. And your
Yeah,
mother did an amazing. She's got an amazing book. And
yes,
Andrea's done an amazing thing. And so has Victoria. And I think we need to let the world know. So,
yes,
that said, I am glad that you were able to join us on our show today because you need to let the world know that you wrote an awesome book about
Yes.
purpose because we need to know what our purpose is.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
I'm going to hand you over to who wants to go next? Victoria? Andrea?
I don't
Y'all
know
know
what
what
is
y'all
wrong.
know what I'm gonna
I
say.
don't know what is wrong with us tonight.
I don't know. You guys, come
I'm
We're
on.
just
You
ready
waiting
to
to
look, look,
do
look,
talk.
it.
look.
We're
Before
ready
the
to
before
do
we
it.
went live, Jay actually did something that no author, no guest has ever done before, and he stumped all of us. We all got quiet.
Yeah.
So congratulations. You continue to do that. So all right.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
All
go.
right, there we go.
Okay.
There are a couple of things that first of all, I loved it, and it is something
Thank
that
you.
um as we said before we even went on the air, and you mentioned it, it's purpose being a buzzword, but purpose seems to always be on our minds. Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? I'm
Yeah.
doing what God wants me to be doing, and
Hmm.
where's am I most productive? What's my passion? We always have all of these questions, but there are a couple of things, and two things that I want to go into. And I think I'm going to start with the second one. Then, if we have time, I'll go to the first one. But in the book,
Okay.
you talked about five pillars of purpose. Five
Hmm.
pillars of purpose.
Yeah.
Self worth being one, influence
Hmm.
being another, courage,
Hmm.
identity, and legacy. And
Hmm.
while I think all five are very important, I want you to pick one of these five, and kind of dig a little deeper for us. So we got
Okay.
self worth, influence, courage, identity, and legacy.
For sure. So for me, I know the cheat code to all five of these pillars, being that they are intertwined. I'm just going to say the first one will be the one that I would delve into more, self-worth, right?
Okay.
I think we internalize so much, right? Because we have to remember we're created in God's image and his likeness, meaning what? We have the capacity to create. Where does the creation process start? Here, mentally, right? So when we look at how God fashioned the earth, it started with his words. So he had to have a strong concept of who he was in order to execute. And so I think a lot of the times we wrestle with validation from the world about who we should be. And not even from just a spiritual perspective. Let's just make it simplistic because I want all of our authors to be able to consume this. When you don't understand how you identify, it's really hard to complete anything in life, anything. And so that is a concept that I believe if you don't understand that, you can never really fulfill purpose because you'll be perpetrating. So there's a part in the book where I also mentioned counterfeit, right? And the
Yeah.
reason why I love counterfeit as such an appropriate word is because you hear the word counterfeit and you automatically think, oh, that's something I could spot. But a lot of the times it is not, right? It's something that appeals to all of your senses in the same way that the real thing would, right? It's just a here and now solution when you're looking for a long term solution. And so I think a lot of the times we settle for our self worth with counterfeits because it's a here and now solution. And it's a daily reminder. I think self worth causes us to walk through a level of honesty that is almost painful because real vulnerability is being able to identify I'm exposing myself, but I don't give people the power to make me feel less of who I am. And I think that that is such a huge point that I really had to go through. I was reading this verse in Galatians chapter 3. I'm sorry, Ephesians. Uh, and it's in the very beginning. It's a statement that we've heard so many times, but go past so quickly. Um, in verse 3, where it says, this mystery was made known to me by revelation. Um, that is such a simplistic sentence, but it really just helped me look at life in a different way because Paul made it clear through that one statement that God was revealing something to him that was new and undiscovered, right? And isn't that what it feels like when you really get to know yourself? When you learn
Right.
aspects about who you are that you didn't even know, it's new, it's undiscovered, it's a
Right.
revelation.
Right.
And that could be a year, 12, 15, 20-year long process, right? Where you don't necessarily reach the end of that before your time is up. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you have that perspective, you really realize that self worth is um, a better understanding of how to navigate, and
Right.
so that's something that I would always challenge people to dive into a bit more and really ask yourself the challenging questions. Do you like who you are? Do you know who you are? Do you understand what identity is? Because all of those things are compiled.
Right.
That's how that people that have, you know, a false view of self worth they're probably a lot quicker to position themselves um, in a place of influence because you want to prove to others that you are something that you're probably feeling a void about, right? You might put yourself in a position to perpetrate, and so usually I feel like people that have a general good sense of their self worth might not always be as vocal because they're very composed and understand who they are, and that's not all the time. Some people are just quiet because they don't want to fail. But I'll pause there because I'm
True.
sure I
True.
sparked some thoughts.
That's good. That's good.
Ooh, mercy.
The second thing that I wanted to ask you about, and it's a term that I really liked when I read it, it sparked something, and that was being
Hmm.
a serial starter. That's what you call it,
Whoo,
a serial starter.
man,
How do we stay out of becoming a
Woo.
serial starter? Tell us
man.
tell us your thoughts on that, because I know that's going to shift some things for some folks.
I think that that really takes a lot of unpacking. I'm very big on just addressing the elephants in the room, so it's very obvious that I'm a brown male. And that being said, I think a lot of the times, just culturally, we pass down things that we don't realize aren't necessarily the best of habits, right? Just historically, we're known to be late to places. We're known to talk up a good game and maybe not back it up, you know. And this isn't just for Black people. I'm just identifying with my experience in life, right? This could be something that all races share. But I point that out to say, I think starting something is something that you have to had witnessed from someone close in proximity to you,
Yeah.
and a lot of the times that starts in the home. And so I think that is a concept that I had to really part ways with, as far as we get so excited to talk about being the first to do something because we don't see a lot of great successes in our family. So it's like, oh, you know, I'm the first to write the book, I'm the first to go to college, I'm the first to do such and such. And while that's exciting, just because you did something, there is a completion process. And when my wife said to me, "You need to promise me that that you would finish what you started," it really showed me like, "Oh man, I'm failing in a lot of areas here." And failure is not a negative thing, so I don't want to discourage people because we put a
Right,
lot of pressure on ourselves to fail. Um, but I think what has helped me complete tasks and not be so much of a serial starter is seeing what I can manage on my plate. I think a lot of the times we have such a drive to be ambitious, like I said, because of our history and where we've come from. There's so much that we want to accomplish because we feel like we're overcompensating to a degree. And I think that millennials really struggle with this a lot because, you know, we're doing life so different than how, you know, our parents did it or how the previous generation before them did it, right? And so a lot of the times we get motivated and really want to pursue a direction that we haven't necessarily walked down or prepared for.
right.
And we take on all of the process of not wanting to look like we're being drowned out by things, and that's so unhealthy. And when I got to a place of realizing, like, okay, I'm just gonna do really, really, really good at this book, and that's okay to just have one thing on my list. I think that that showed me, okay, the completion comes when you practice completing one thing at a time and starting what you can handle.
Mhm.
So me, I'm a really involved person. I like to be around people. My wife is a lot better at managing like her social media, right? Where she's like, all right, I had enough for the day. And I'm still in the lobby saying bye for 20 minutes and she in a car, you know. So I think that that comes out of my heart to not want to let people down. But I also think that there's a performance aspect of you that you have to really address as an author, because I think real authors, and I utilize that term to say people that are actually caring about the quality of their work, you want to leave your audience with some sort of answer to whatever question you're positioning before them. And so I realized that I can't really give people an adequate representation of what it looks like to complete something. If I'm just encouraging them to start everything, and you might not be able to handle all of that. You know, you guys have this amazing podcast, but it's because you're sharing the responsibility collectively. And I think being comfortable with saying, okay, I'm sharing or I'm partnering with someone, and it doesn't take away from what I'm actually completing. It really helps you. So yeah, I agree with what Leah just said. One thing at a time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good, 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 good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I appreciate
Mhm.
that. Good nuggets, Jay. Good nuggets. Okay, Miss Victoria, I'm gonna step back and let you have
My
it.
turn. My turn now. My turn. Well, everybody also they know what I'm going to say. My tagline is get the book. Get the book, everybody, because this conversation is not by any chance a coincidence.
Ah,
Oh no.
Victoria's reason. There,
Okay.
now we got your
There we
back.
Not
go.
again.
So rude. That's so rude. I said, get the book. Let me get the book because
Yep.
this conversation is not by any means a combination of what the book is about. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I just, it may seem funny, but how old are you? How old are you?
I'm 28.
Yeah, stop. Stop, Victoria.
I my point in asking that was that you are just you have an old soul. I tell you, and God has clearly has His hand on you, and He has His hand on this book, and you're just presenting and showing such a maturity about this thing called purpose that I know God has His hand on you. And
Thank you.
where's your church? And what's the name of the church that you preach at? Because if you're in the Dallas area, I want y'all to go to visit him's church.
Yeah, so our home church is Social Dallas. Pastor Robert Madu leads the church. I'm sure many people have heard of him. He's a great communicator, and yeah, it's been such a pleasure to be a part of the ministry. I think that it has really just challenged us to be social. One
Yeah,
thing that we say a lot at the church is when you say yes to Jesus, you say yes to being social.
yeah.
And that's so true,
Amen.
right? Because we look at who
Yep.
Jesus was. He was an orator. And so you can't, effectively communicate the gospel if you're not willing to talk or spark up a conversation. So
Amen.
I think that's where it starts. And yeah, it has been great. It's downtown. We're meeting in Gillies, which is in the heart of Dallas. And so I encourage a lot of people to go out there. My wife and I currently, we just relocated to Austin 3 weeks ago because
Wow.
of work has brought me down here, but we're gonna be heading back to Dallas this time next year. We'll be back. So for the time
Okay.
being, we're virtual, but
Right.
that is where our heart and our home is. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. One thing I loved about the book is a couple of lines, but what stood out to me is that a career is something that you choose, but purpose is something that is given. Purpose is what we're designed to do, but a career can be what do I want to do? Can you talk about that for 2.5 minutes?
You on my notes. You on my notes over here. I would say we all struggle with crisis. I know that's a odd way to answer this question, but I think that crisis is something that's important for us all to acknowledge, right? Whether it be midlife crisis, mental crisis, career crisis, or just whatever it is. And I translate crisis to stress. So
Mhm.
you cannot determine stress for one person, and yourself. It's going to look different in every individual. And so I bring that up to say, I think a lot of the times, whatever stressors we're experiencing prohibit us from healthily engaging with the path of purpose that's already been engineered for us. Purpose is something that you can never erase, but it is something that you cannot fulfill. And
Wow.
so, the best way that I simplify purpose is it's just simply obedience to Christ and whatever He's leading you to do. So it's going to look different in every season, right? For example, in one season, it was to write the book. Now, in this season, it's to share the knowledge with people, right?
Man,
And to maybe be a gatherer. Maybe it is to sow this into the lives of people that cannot afford it. That's something that I
right.
would encourage authors to do as well.
Yeah.
And also, a great piece of advice that Ruth had given me, um, I think it was via text or email. We've had so much communication, I don't know
Mhm.
when. But that being said, yeah, I think that it's realizing purpose is the overarching theme, right? But it's gonna come with missions. So there's an analogy I use in the book where war is the main topic, but
Mhm.
war includes missions, right? So I have to complete this mission, and when that's done, I move on to this. And sometimes this mission could be 5 years long, and this
Mhm.
mission could be 15 months. And so I think once we like really internalize, okay, purpose is something that I'm always in pursuit of, and it's not necessarily complete until I leave this earth.
Amen.
That's when you're like, wow, okay, I don't have to complicate this thing to a degree of translating it to, oh, okay, I got to be the best mother for my kids. I got to be the best husband. I got to be the most top level corporate exec. Those are great things that might be a product, a byproduct of you walking in purpose, but that is not your purpose. And so I think sometimes um, that's something that we have to talk ourselves out of a lot because it's so easy in our humanity to find value in whatever we're completing on a daily basis, right? So I tackle that idea and a few others in this book. And, I just want people to understand that purpose is so much more broader than what we
Mhm.
have limited to.
Mhm.
Amen. Okay.
Uh,
Would you tell our listeners your Cash App, because they need to put it on,
Ah.
where they could get the book and how they could get in touch with you?
Yes, yes, yes. Oh man. Um, so you can get it on Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
You can get it on Amazon, which is I think been the most lucrative way for people.
Mhm.
And literally it's just typing in what is your purpose question mark. And I believe it's like one of the first things that come up. So the book
Amen.
looks like this. I don't
Thank
know if you guys can
you.
see
Thank you
that.
for showing. I always ask,
Um,
does anybody have a copy of the
absolutely.
book? Yes.
Absolutely. And yeah, so if you see that blue cover on Amazon, if you want a personal copy signed, you would have to order directly from me. But, for now, get on Instagram and type in planned purpose, and then you'll find my, author Instagram, or you can get on the internet and go to planpurpose.org. So I do speaking engagements, seminars, and other training and coaching workshops where a lot of this curriculum and other things that I've created
Great.
are available to the public.
All
So
right. Do
yeah,
you have another book in the makings? I wanted to ask you that.
yeah, I do, I do. So be on the lookout for that. That book is already titled The Dig, and so it's geared towards motivation
Mhm.
and how we can actually find the gumption to pursue our purpose.
All
So,
right.
Wow.
All right. Thank you so much. I could
yeah,
ask a little bit more, but I know we run out of time. So I just say from
I
the bottom of my
understand.
heart, your book really has helped me a lot. And I thank you
Wow,
for being here and thank you. Just thank you. That's all I can say.
wow, wow. Thank y'all. I really appreciate it. I said it earlier, guys, that as an author, even a communicator, this is for everyone. Sometimes we get paralyzed by the audience we want to reach because we think that it's supposed to be massive. But even if you just reach one person, you've
Mhm.
accomplished that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
sometimes God wants you to reach one person, and that person might reach millions.
it's the
So
world.
you are still doing the same thing.
Yes. Yes.
That's
I
right.
like
Yeah.
him. I like him.
Yeah.
I think one of the joys that we have in doing this program and being able
Mhm.
to share the work of new authors and people who may have been authors for a long time is when I see comments that say, "This is helping me."
Yes.
Mhm.
or this
Yeah.
is applicable, because it is so easy to read good things and to get nuggets, but it's more important when you can use those nuggets, when you can
Yeah.
apply them, when you can put yourself in that situation and say, yes, yes, I get that. I understand that. Is one thing that you said, interestingly enough, which is something that we're getting ready to go through a little bit, and that's talking about the game plan.
Hmm.
Having a game plan and having a strategy. And interestingly enough, when I came back, from Vegas, and I was telling my co-host, and there's some things that I've got to be intentional about. There's some things that I need
Hmm.
to do some goal setting about. So when I heard you say that and heard you say strategy, I thought, yes, on point. Good deal, good deal. Thank you,
Yes.
Jay. Thank you
Yes.
so much for
My
being
pleasure.
with us tonight, for your
Hmm.
book. Thank you for following the advice of your wife and making that promise to finish it, because
Yeah.
many people are going to benefit from it.
Yes.
I guarantee you that. And this has just been a joy. Again, thank you so much for being with us here on Authors Up. Listeners, look, you have enjoyed the experience of hearing Jay Klein talk about his book. Share it. And we have a replay on Saturday evenings at 7 p.m. If you know of somebody that you want to pull alongside and say, hey, I want you to listen to this with me. Maybe it's somebody that you've been working with, maybe it's somebody in your family, but whoever, this is not just for the writer in you, but it is anybody. Anybody can learn and glean from the nuggets that Jay shared with us tonight. And we are definitely appreciative, sir. Hats off to
Thank you.
you. Much
Thank you.
success to you. And we expect for you to be back when your next book is complete so you can continue
Absolutely.
the journey with Authors Up. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate that. And if you would hang on for just a minute after we close, that would be great.
Okay.
Everybody, thank you for being with us. Thank you. Avery asked for the book title. The book
Yes.
title is What is Your
Your
Purpose?
purpose.
What is your purpose? Okay.
Mhm.
And I think that's all. I think we caught most of the comments there. Thank you again, Jay. Thank you again, listeners.
No
Thank you
problem.
to those who are coming in from out of country and listening to the show as well. You know what we are going to do next week. We are going to be right back here at 7 p.m. And you've already got it on your calendar. I can feel it. I can feel Feel it. You already got it on your calendar. Come back, be with us at 7 p.m. next Sunday night, because you never, ever know what is going to happen on Authors Up. So have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you right back here next Sunday night at
Mwah.
7
Good
p.m.
night.
Hey,
Bye, Bronze
yes,
Girl.
All right.
you,
Good
sir.
night.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Thank y'all.
night.